The Ray D'Arcy Show on RTE Radio 1.
Now, yesterday at the start of the show, we mentioned Roberto Loli Linguanotto. He is the Italian pastry chef believed to have invented the iconic tiramisu dessert. He died on Sunday. And when I asked you about your favourite tiramisu spot, we were inundated with texts and emails. They went on for miles, lads. So let's chat more about this delicious dessert and how it's made. And to do so, we have brought in Giuseppe Crupi. You see,
Ciao bella!
Ciao bello! You are an Italian chef and, of course, director of the wonderful Pinocchio Cookery School in Dublin.
Right.
How are you, sir?
Fantastico. I'm feeling fantastic.
Well, we had no idea. We just mentioned it. And we had no idea. The Irish people are very passionate about the tiramisu, it seems. Yeah. So give us the lowdown. First of all, I said that maybe there'd be lots of different, like you know, Irish folklore. Like, is that the definitive truth as to where tiramisu comes from, or is that argued or debated?
It is quite argued for a reason, because tiramisu belongs to a family of dessert, if you like, that there are, let's say, discussion between Veneto, Friuli, Venezia Giulia, different regions, you know, like,
okay.
And it's hard to know because before tiramisu, let's say, there were desserts that were very similar, and I think that when they mention this guy is because he's the one who actually made it with the ingredients as we know them now, like the Savoiardi biscuits rather than another biscuit, and so on and so on.
Okay.
But I will say that one thing that happens a lot in Italy is that since we cook our recipes a lot, we get tired of them quite soon. So every family will make their own version of it. You know what I mean? And tiramisu, I think, is very popular also for that reason, because you can personalize that a lot.
Okay, well, that's what I was interested to get your opinion on. You know, when you talk about people putting rum in it, people putting raspberries in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not sacrilege to you,
No, because you see, like, first of all, I don't think that having a strict approach to cuisine in general is healthy. You know what I like?
Okay, I like that.
You kill the fun this way, and also because our tradition is actually to reinterpret every dish in every family in different ways. Now, when it comes to the tiramisu, the nice thing is that you can definitely add alcohol. Bear in mind that tiramisu in Italian means pull me up, like tiramisu.
Not pick me up, pull me up.
Yeah, like give me a bust. And the bust comes from coffee, and sometimes you can put marsala in the cream. And in fact, one of the theories, legends, is that it was created in a patisserie shop next to a warehouse. Not true.
Next to a whorehouse?
Yeah, I don't know if it's true.
Okay.
But the clients needed the tiramisu before.
They needed to pick me up before. Yes.
To be honest with you, you can even do it without the coffee altogether. So you can actually put the biscuits inside limoncello and orange juice. You can put berries in between the layers, so you can have a summer version of it. You can skip the biscuits altogether, so it can be a gluten-free dessert. And it's very easy, but remember, every time a recipe is easy, it's easy to mess it up. You cannot cover it up.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Because if you have a cake with many layers and flavors, if you do something
make
wrong,
a mistake,
you can cover it.
Okay.
With the tiramisu, if it's wrong, it's wrong.
So you say it's simple to make. How do you teach?
Very good. Thank you for asking me that, because for some reason...
I just want to get, because I have a tiramisu sitting here in front of me, and I feel really rude to stick my spoon in just now.
Go for it.
I want you to tell me first.
So the basic ingredients are very simple.
Yeah.
It's just eggs, mascarpone, sugar, and the biscuits together with the coffee. And then you can add alcohol if you want. The thing is, you have to whisk the yolks with the sugar to a point that they almost double in volume. In any case, they become a pale yellow, and then add the mascarpone. And that's the first tricky thing, because if your mascarpone curdles, there is no tiramisu tonight, okay? It's not going to happen. And then the white have to be whisked so firm that you can put it upside down, because all the good bits are in the yolks and the mascarpone and the sugar, but then you want to make it lighter. Basically, what you are doing when you cook a tiramisu, you are creating a cloud. It's the closest of being a goddess that you can experience in life. Because
I love that.
You know, like the way you want it to be soft but not running. Because if it's running, you can't even serve it. It's going to be, like something liquid. And then once you get that, a nice thing is that it's better if you let it set. because that means that the biscuits will get softer because you put the coffee in them, and the cream gets firmer to the point that when you dive in with your teaspoon, you shouldn't notice a difference in the texture, you know. But the fact that it's better if you make it before, it's like to say it's cooking with no stress, because you did the dessert the day before, not when your guests are arriving. You know what I mean? Like, so it belongs to those recipes that we like to have.
And that's a good one to have in your back pocket, that you're not having to do it on the day. So it's better
exactly.
the day before.
It is always better.
Always in the fridge. And I know you're saying cooking, but you don't cook it.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's why it's so simple. It's very much kind of things that people will do in college, you know, when they want to do a quick dessert and stuff. If I can tell you one thing, because nobody makes the biscuits, obviously, you know, and you can play a lot with the biscuits. Like in Italy, they will be very common, not just the Savoiardi, also the Pavesini, but you can put anything you want. The biscuits are actually made the same way. Like you whisk the yolks with the sugar, you have the whites. The only thing is that rather than adding the mascarpone, you add the flour, and then you have to pipe them in the oven, and that's how you. So it's
these are what we call the lady finger.
Yeah, lady
biscuits.
fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tuck in.
Please.
You've brought a beautiful tiramisu.
Be honest.
Listen,
Gianluca put all his love in it. Don't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you. There was a moment of tension. You know, like I didn't know what to think.
Oh my God. That is divine.
And one thing that we suggest is to single portion the tiramisu if you can, because
that's what I was going to say. Is it better single portion or the big?
You see, like the reason why we suggest to single portion it, like, so for instance, you can use coffee cappuccino cups or for mugs, or even if you make the summer version with berries, you can put it in wine glasses and put a slice of orange on the side. You know, it's easier to serve, because what happens sometimes with the tiramisu is that you have this beautiful tiramisu, and then by the time you cut it, you plate it, you kind of kill it a little bit.
Yeah, and it can look like a bit of a mess. Where it holds shape in a single serve.
Yeah.
I'm just eating that now, right? And as an incredible Italian cook, what would you serve if it's easy to do this dessert? If you wanted to have a dinner party, or if you want to have people over the bank holiday weekend, what would be a good meal to eat before? What would be a good dish to have before?
That's a good question, because tiramisu is quite rich. So I would actually prefer a tiramisu, let's say, either if you're having one of those big Christmas dinners or lunch. In fact, on this point, you can even make the cream of the tiramisu as a side cream for a Christmas cake, or for a, you know, like apple tart. Because it's very rich, and you can also add the flavor you like. You can add some whiskey in it. You can add some tia Maria. Normally, I will go either for something rich, in the sense that we are going to kill the guests. You know?
Like if you're in, you're in.
Yeah, like I remember my sister this summer, we were hosting a dinner party for the guests, for the neighbors, and she was afraid that the food was not enough. So I asked her, "Is I think that they are full now?" And she goes like, "Yes, but they have to feel sick."
We need to fill them up to the gills.
Exactly. Or the other way around, you have just some fish, something very light, so you can enjoy a rich dessert.
And
like
would you have that with, like, do you have it with coffee? Do you have it with a dessert wine?
Dessert wine, I think, will be very nice. Okay. And this is one thing in general. If you cook with one ingredient, it's nice to serve that ingredient as a side. Like, for instance, if you're making a risotto with a white wine, it's nice, you know, like when you cook the risotto, you add some wine. It's nice if you serve the same wine with the risotto. So with the tiramisu, if, let's say, you put some marsala and then you have a little glass of marsala, if it's with coffee and you have the coffee, it's nice, because your palate kind of put the two things together.
They're complementing each other nicely.
Yeah.
We ought to very traditional trifle. At Christmas, my sister makes a great tiramisu. That's from Teresa, which is what you were saying. It's a great Christmas dish. Is there a dairy-free version of tiramisu?
I wouldn't say so, mostly because one key ingredient is the mascarpone.
Yeah.
I know it's quite fattening in this sense, but it is the key ingredient in the sense that that sort of lush, you know, like texture that you get is from the mascarpone. So once you don't have it, I'm not too sure. You can try.
We can try. All right, Giuseppe, I always love welcoming my guests to studio, but I particularly loved seeing you today.
I love you
so
too.
much for the tiramisu.